My name is William Morris. I am a patent attorney and the co-founder of IP Toolworks, LLC. We are a company that makes software. Our primary product is the Arguminer patent prosecution software that helps people basically get patents. It helps you when you are negotiating with a patent examiner to see what other people have done in similar situations that have worked or what didn't work if you're looking for negative examples. And it's very exciting, actually. As I said, I'm an attorney. I see people with their inventions, and now I have of my own. I also have a company sort of commercializing it. Very exciting. I've gotten a lot of really good feedbacks and really good traction, which I really like. But what I want to talk about right now are 5 things that I wish someone had told me before I started with IP Toolworks. Because yeah, I've learned a lot, and I think these 5 things are things that if you hear them at the right time, they can save you a lot of difficulty that I had to go through sort of learning it myself. So the first thing I would say that I wish someone had told me about is the difference between someone telling you they would buy your product and them actually paying money for it is really night and day. And this is something, right? So we went through all sorts of sort of incubators and accelerators and classes and talked to various people. They're all about do all your validation pre-launch, right? Talk to people, talk to your potential customers, make sure you've got people, who like it and say they would use it. And we did all of that, right? We did that to the hilt. And of course, it was pretty easy for me to identify people because, as I said, I'm a patent attorney. And and then once you got it, we hit a wall, and, we thought we had so many things sort of ready and people into it. And, it just didn't end up panning out. I think one was funny. This was not this wasn't a mistake in our part or someone blowing smoke. We had one case where a person said, oh, we will buy this. We think this is great. We're very excited. And we have the contract, we get it, where it's all ready, we're going to send it over, and son of a gun, there's a shakeup, and the guy's removed from his position, not because of us, right? Because of totally different things, and the new person wasn't even focused on it at all. Like, we lost it totally out of our control. The bottom line, though, is that people saying they're going to buy your product and then actual money, actual signed contracts, the difference is night and day. You can do all the validation you want, but in the end, it's a whole different ball game. I think if everyone says no, okay, then all right, that's not so great. If everyone just says no, I have no interest. But everybody says yes, it wasn't anywhere near what we had thought it would be. I'll put it that way. Another thing that I wish we had sort of known is that some things really take a lot of time. You go to all these startup training things, right? And they'll say, okay, here's what you do. Got to fail fast, right? Move fast and break things. Fail fast. That is a mantra. They say, fail fast, fail fast. Go in and do it and be disruptive, all this stuff. And I get the wisdom that you don't want to throw good money after bad, right? You don't want to drag everything out and keep pouring in money and trying because, it's like trying to bail water out of a sinking ship. It's not really going to work. On the other hand, we live in an industry with a very long buying cycle. That is just the way it is. And especially when you have a unique product that nobody else has, it just takes a lot of time, frankly, to educate people, to sort of build understanding, to go through sort of the whole process of getting into, especially a law firm, because there's so many different committees, there's different budgets, you've got to show that you've got the security, things take time. And if you say, hey, I'm going to fail fast, well, if you're going to be fast in a slow industry, then you're just going to fail, period. There were times when I was I was considering giving up, which would have been premature and a mistake. But I think part of it is there's this emphasis on fail fast, and that we had a good approach. We had sort of a lean model, and it worked out well. But I think knowing that fail fast mantra doesn't really fit, especially again in sort of industries like ours, would have been good, and it would have saved me some angst going in the beginning part of it. A third thing, and this seems so easy, and it might be easier now, right? Because so the number 3 thing I think I'd wish people had told me beforehand is be extremely sure you have your video conferencing platform in very good order. And again, maybe now that everybody's been remote for a year with COVID, people are better with this. But when we started, it wasn't that way. And there's nothing that makes you feel worse than having a technical issue in a call with a prospect. That is awful. I really hate it. Another thing that came up, we didn't botch it, but there was some angst, is we were again trying to run lean. We were on the free tier of Zoom. Their performance was solid. The problem was they cut you off after 40 minutes. Now our typical calls were lasting about 30, so that was okay. But one day we had one that wasn't wrapping up as expected. And now it happened, my co-founder literally was on the other end entering our credit card details with minutes to spare, and it worked, so yay. But I'll tell you that having your video conference platform in good order in advance, yeah, do that. Just make sure that stuff is absolutely nailed down, because there's all sorts of things that can go wrong. You don't want that. You do not want that to be one of them. Number 4 thing that I wish I had known before I started, marketing can be really transformative. And this is one, you hear about things like word of mouth, and, as a technologist, I have this groundbreaking idea. I go ahead and build it. People say, oh, we've got all these connections. I have all these connections. But ultimately, it won't be able to achieve what it's supposed to if it's not marketed. And to me, again, it's counterintuitive, right? Because you're like, look, this is great. No one buys your marketing. Like, you're giving away your marketing. They buy your product. Why, do you have to sort of show this ancillary thing? And the answer is, I don't know why, but you just freaking do. And I would say the last 6 months, we've really been investing in marketing has been transformative, because when we started out, we were trying, we had our outgoing sales calls, and it was a pain. You get somebody, they're like all hot and cold. They're not really interested, but they take your time. Now we have people reaching out to us. And it's night and day. It's so much better having marketing. And again, I couldn't explain why it's so necessary, because the product is the same. The targets are the same, but, getting out there, getting your social media stuff, it's really a big deal. And I wouldn't have expected it, but I wish I'd known it beforehand. And then the number 5 thing I want to talk about, sort of, again, 5 things that I wish I'd known before I started. Know your niche. As it happens, our product really is tied and is really sort of has the most interest from a very specific user and application. And frankly, we built this product with kind of a pretty narrow focus in general, right? This is software that's used by people who are prosecuting patents in the US, generally for software inventions. That's a pretty tight focus no matter what. But even then, we found that there was a lot of work needed to get to understand the concerns of all the players involved through kind of the buying cycle, and then later on in users. And I'd say being aware of that, knowing really who your users are, what they need, and then investing in relationships with them wherever you can is really, really, really important. And again, I wish I had known that, and I wish I'd known before I started kind of what that was going to be and how important it was. So that's 5 things I wish I had known before I started. Again, all of those things are learned through a lot of difficulty and angst and fear. And if you know these, I think you might be able to avoid some of those nail-biting moments that we had, especially that Zoom call, and maybe get to where we are with a little bit smoother sailing. So there you go. Good luck.